Ben, how impressed are you with the job that Buzz has done with Texas A&M in his first year there?
Yeah, he's done an incredible job. They remind me a lot in terms of how physical they are on their front line and how hard they play, like South Carolina. I've watched them play now 3 games yesterday, and you're super impressive. They have more offensive rebounds in conference games than we do. We have 150 in 13 games. They have 159. They're incredibly physical and tough. Changing defenses, 1-2-2 press back to a matchup zone, back to man, switching man. They'll be show zone and be in man in the middle of possession. They got a lot of different things they do defensively, a lot of pressure. I think it was the Tennessee game. They had 23 or 25 offensive rebounds at Tennessee. They had 23 against Missouri in the Missouri game just recently. They're monsters on the glass in terms of how hard they go, and they're very efficient offensively. Mitchell's really playing well for him right now. He had a big game the other night in Tuscaloosa. Really played well, hit some big threes. Nebo, their leading scorer, has really been just a beast down low. He's a senior, physical, really athletic, strong. They have a backup big, a coup comes in, who's just equally as physical as is Nebo, which is saying something. I mean, they're like those South Carolina guys, the same, mode of how tough they are and how hard they play and how physical they are. Savion Flagg, we played them twice last year. He had 21 and 23 respectively in those 2 games. He's very, very skilled, a hard matchup. That's Robert's guy to start with. He's their starting 3. He's got the same body as Robert. He's big, long, athletic, very skilled, shoots it. Jackson is a really good JC guard they have that transferred in from a junior college. I mean, he's as athletic and bouncy as anybody in our league, as you guys will see when you watch. Chandler's a good player. I love the freshman Miller, the starting power forward. I mean, he's got a great time motor. They have 3 guys that average over 2 offensive rebounds per game on their front line. So, yeah, he's doing a great job, and their personnel is very good.
You've mentioned a lot this year how you've tried to get your team to be patient, especially on offense. How important is that going to be this weekend against A&M, because they require patience against their defense?
Yeah, they do, and I think that's critical. But at the same time, they're applying pressure to try to speed you up. So you've got to be able to handle that pressure and not get sped up. You got to move the ball, and really, we've got to get the ball inside. We've got to attack the rim. Just like everybody we play against, and they make it very difficult. So it's going to be a real challenge for us, and take care of the ball. We had way too many turnovers the other night. We must do a better job taking care of the basketball against Texas A&M, and they're going to be very aggressive with their defense and their presses.
We'll go to Brian's middle row, second row.
When you look at where your team sits right now with tournament predictions and things like that, does it already sort of feel like March? Does it already feel like there's sort of a survive and advance mentality?
Every game is so critical. We're obviously we go into every game, the expectation of playing our very best and try to win that game. And every game is critical with 5 left, 1 at a time. And there's no easy games. That's what's Please give me an easy game. There's no such thing. I mean, it's just like I said, it's the gauntlet. When it was funny, I got you guys will appreciate this. My dad fought in World War II, and my uncle, his brother, was a Marine at Iwo Jima, and was the first group of guys that landed there, and where we lost 7,000. And it really impacted my uncle's life. And, so I got ripped one time this year at the, you were there, at the, later, and unbeknownst to me, I'm at the media day for the SEC, and I talked about this league being, something that I think, when I think of like war, the Bataan Death March, and what they made the Americans do and how they slit their Achilles tendons so they couldn't run. I actually read all about it and learned about it because I have a personal stake with family having been a part of it. And I got ripped by someone. They wrote me a note saying, "What is he doing?" And they were just, upset because they had someone they had lost in that same thing. But I'm telling you, I mean, this league is so hard. Every game is so tough. I mean, I didn't mean to offend anybody when I made that comparison, but I mean, it is just brutal. I mean, it is so hard. It is so tough.
Coach, obviously, Reggie is the focal point of a lot of teams y'all play, and they're going to hang on him during the game and try to frustrate him. Obviously, he got frustrated the other night against South Carolina, and he has in other games. Is there a way to keep that from happening? And I know you talked to him about that, but what's the way to balance that
But
frustration?
I think that you're bringing up a great point in that that's the idea of the defense is to try to just get as physical as you can without getting fouls called, so that you can try to really impact him with the physicality, and and honestly it's just the officials have a hard job. I mean, it's very hard, as physical as these kids are today and as big and strong as they are. But he always bounces back and learns. I thought he did a great job in the second half with his composure because he's going against a guy who's 270, and I need to do a better job. And we talked about that. I'm not going to give you our game plan the next time we play, but I've got some better ideas on how to utilize him to give him a better opportunity offensively. And I wasn't doing a good job with him in that game, and I've got to do a better job getting him in positions where he's going to catch it with a little more room to operate. When you're going down there and the guy behind you is 6'11", 270, and just banging with you, it's just very difficult. So in reality, a lot of that falls on my shoulders.
We'll go to Logan, first row to the right.
When you face back-to-back physical teams like you're going to face this week, and then a team that rebounds as well as A&M does, do you anticipate using Prince and Keyshawn a little bit more just for a few minutes to kind of
we're
spell
going to
them?
have to, just from the standpoint of bodies, size, and so I think that Keyshawn gave us good minutes again the other night. He didn't play as many as I anticipated him using. That's because Abdul was playing so well. And, if you look at the plus-minus, I mean, Abdul the other night, when he's in the game, we're plus 15. When his minutes were up 15. When he's out, I think it was either plus 3 or minus 3. It was one or the other. I think it was a 12-point difference or maybe 18. If you look to his minutes and how important he is to our team, it's incredible. And he's playing really well right now for us. I mean, I think he had 10 points in the first half and really did a nice job. And part of that, they're spending so much attention on Reggie. We've got to take more advantage of Abdul offensively because he's showing he can do it.
Obviously, you were high on DJ Stewart because you recruited and signed him, and you saw his athletic talent. Even though he was very even keel in high school, and you got to see him redshirt last year, and you bragged about him. But are you kind of surprised at how quickly he's matured to this game, and nothing seems to rattle DJ being a freshman?
I'm not surprised. I knew it would take him some time. He was a true freshman a year ago, but he's still a freshman this year, starting the year in terms of game experience. And, our first scrimmage against TCU, he didn't score. In other words, it takes some time to get comfortable, but he's comfortable now. So I think he's, playing as well as anybody on our team and does so much to help his team win. And is so unselfish. And for anybody who knows DJ, there's just not a nicer young man, a better kid that you could ever hope for. It's just an absolute pleasure every day in practice, outside of practice, with the trainers, with the academic support, with the professors, with everybody. He's just a wonderful kid. I told him the other day, I said, DJ, you're one of the nicest kids I've ever coached. I mean, who do you owe that to? Is it your mom or your dad? It's both my parents. It's just how I was raised, Coach. And it's really nice that he recognized right away. He gives all the credit to his mother and his father. He comes from a really good family. His aunts are here for every game. I mean, they make the trip every game. I mean, he's got a really beautiful, loving family. It's really neat.
You mentioned using Abdul on the offensive end more. The other night, it was a lot of entry passes to him where they threw it over the defender and he would just dunk it or lay it off the glass. Or we hadn't seen that a whole lot this year. Is that something that worked on a little bit more? Or
Well, you know
focused
what?
on?
They were, in other words, the smaller of the two defenders was on him because they had Kostar, their best defender, on Reggie. So, and they were full fronting and denying it, so we were able to get him the ball some. And that was just, the matchup.